Imagine a world perpetually wrapped in the velvet curtain of twilight. A realm where the sun dips low, but never fully vanishes, leaving everything shrouded in a dim, haunting half-light. The shadows stretch endlessly across cobbled streets and creaky wooden homes, where the wind howls like ancient spirits whispering forgotten truths. In this world, storms aren't just meteorological events, they are apocalyptic omens. Thunder, in all its unbridled fury, is no longer dismissed as a natural occurrence, but revered, feared, as the furious voice of a god long lost to myth. Now picture this: no light bulbs, no hum of a refrigerator, no blinking notifications from a glowing screen. The spark that defined human progress, the harnessing of electricity, never arrived. No Tesla coils, no Edison's breakthroughs, no flick of a switch to banish the dark. Civilization stumbled at the threshold of a revelation and turned back, afraid or unaware of the power just beyond reach. What would that world look like? How would we survive? Would we cling to fire as our sacred savior, or would we descend into something darker, more primitive? You are about to journey into that very world, an alternate Earth, eerily familiar yet terrifyingly transformed. Welcome, dear traveler, to the parallel world you were never meant to see. Welcome to another mind-bending journey in this episode of Timelines Rewritten, the series where we take the world you know and twist it into what might have been. Today, we dare to venture into an alternate timeline so fundamental in its divergence, it redefines the very concept of progress. We're diving into a world where electricity, the invisible current that pulses through our every device, lights our nights, powers our dreams, was never discovered. Not ignored. Not delayed. Completely and utterly absent. Maybe it was a scientific mystery humanity never cracked, or perhaps, in this timeline, it was suppressed, forbidden, whispered about in hushed tones like dark magic. But make no mistake, this isn't your typical steampunk aesthetic dressed up in brass and gears. This is something deeper. Grittier. This is a full-blown alternate history expedition, built on plausibility, dread, and the sheer weight of what the world lost by never striking that first spark. We'll dissect how civilization might crawl forward without electricity, how it would adapt, resist, innovate, or collapse entirely. The foundations of our world, communication, medicine, governance, even leisure, will be examined through a darkened lens, one that flickers not with LEDs, but with gaslight and desperation. Picture this: hospitals where scalpels are sterilized over open flames, where ventilators don't exist, and where anesthesia is a luxury reserved for the powerful. Cities suffocated by soot and smoke, powered by steam and muscle, where every alley holds shadows that never leave. The night? It becomes something primal, dangerous. A predator. So humanity builds its cities to never sleep, bathed not in the clean brilliance of electricity, but in the trembling glow of flame. Here, light is not a right, it's a battle. And freedom? It's just a dream echoing in the absence of a world run by fiber optics. This is a civilization that fears the dark, not metaphorically, but viscerally. And in just a few moments, you'll see why. Let's peel back the curtain on everyday life in this electricity-starved world. Forget your glowing screens and buzzing notifications. There are no smartphones in your pocket, no Wi-Fi to connect you to the world. No scrolling through cat videos, no midnight online shopping, no GPS to save you when you're lost. Instead, your alarm clock is a rooster outside your window, if you're rural, or the church bell tolling in the distance, echoing through empty cobblestone streets. Your morning light? Not a bedside lamp, but the dim, flickering dance of a candle, if you can afford wax. Or maybe just a small fire stoked before dawn, lighting up a room thick with smoke and shadows. Windy day. Good luck. That fragile flame may vanish with a single gust, leaving you blind until the sun rises. Productivity becomes a race against daylight, and the darkness. It doesn't wait patiently, it creeps in like a thief. Now imagine falling ill in this world. You're rushed to a hospital, but there's no steady electrical hum, no glowing monitors. Just the sharp scent of burning oil, echoing footsteps in long hallways, and the glint of surgical tools, crude and iron, heated over open flame. Anesthesia is basic, sometimes absent. Surgeries are swift, and survival is a gamble. As for communication, gone are the days of instant messages and viral trends. Every word must be penned by hand, sealed in wax, and sent off by courier, or even by carrier pigeon, if you're desperate. Replies come weeks later, if they come at all. Urgency has no place here. And every delay carries weight. Missed opportunities, unanswered cries, and the heavy silence of news that never arrives. Then comes nightfall. In our world, it signals rest. In this world, it signals fear. There are no streetlights guiding your path, no porch lights welcoming you home. Just darkness. Total, primal darkness, held at bay by scattered lanterns and trembling torchlight. The city breathes slower. People disappear into their homes like prey hiding from unseen predators. And fear. Fear is the one thing that travels fast, even faster than in our electrified reality. Now let's crank open the gears of history and take a hard look at the beating heart of progress, the Industrial Revolution. Without electricity to ignite the spark of modern industry, that revolution, the one that reshaped every corner of our world, wouldn't just be delayed. It would be transformed into something entirely different. Picture it. Steam would rise, not fall. It would rain like a tyrant god, billowing from chimneys, groaning from pistons, pushing the boundaries of human innovation and exhaustion. In this version of history, steam power becomes the undisputed monarch of machines. Forget microchips and silicon. The world would revolve around gears, pulleys, cranks, and pressure valves. Entire cities would pulse like clockwork organisms, mechanical beasts kept alive by constant maintenance, sweat, and fire. The mechanical revolution would continue, yes, but with far more metal than magic. Factories would resemble massive iron lungs, wheezing smoke into the sky, shaking the ground with the clank of gears and the hiss of pressure release. And the transportation revolution. That doesn't go electric, it goes apocalyptic. Imagine giant steam-powered contraptions, monstrous vehicles clanking across desert plains on cast-iron legs like mechanical spiders. There are no electric trains gliding silently along rails. Instead, iron behemoths belch soot, screech on rusted tracks, and move like dragons of industry. This world is Jules Verne meets Mad Max, a fever dream of brass, leather, and smog, where every machine is a beast that must be fed with fuel and fury. Energy is never clean or quiet. It's back-breaking, labor-intensive, and dangerous. Coal would be king, dug from the earth in clouds of choking dust. Wood would be stripped from forests in a relentless hunger for fire. Wind and water might offer some relief, but only in select places, and only if harnessed by massive gears and heavy manual work. There's no plug and play. No green energy revolution. Just roaring furnaces, glowing forges, and the relentless grind of a world where progress is measured in ash and steel, not in volts and data. In this shadowed world without electricity, power isn't measured in kilowatts, it's measured in control over fuel and flame. The real empires aren't built on data or digital influence. They rise from smoke and steam. Here, power quite literally lies in the hands of those who control combustion. Governments, monarchies, and warlords alike would seize and guard the means of heat and light like sacred relics. Centralized steam plants become fortresses of fire, protected by battalions, their roaring furnaces the only barrier between civilization and darkness. Cities, those rare beacons of light, would glow with a fiery defiance against the void. Street lamps fed by gas would hiss and flicker under the weight of constant maintenance. Flames would light government buildings, homes of the wealthy, theaters, but always under lock and key. Meanwhile, rural communities, cut off from these tightly held energy sources, would drift in near-total darkness. Entire regions would fall behind, not just in technology, but in opportunity, safety, and knowledge. In this world, the divide between light and dark becomes literal, visible from the sky like a map of inequality. And fear would take root deep in the soul of society. The dark isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Criminals, wild animals, and superstition thrive in it. Over time, this fear becomes cultural, spiritual, even divine. Entire religions could be born around the sanctity of fire. The sun might be worshipped not as a symbol, but as a savior, its daily return celebrated like a holy resurrection. Flame becomes sacred, and its keepers, fire monks, light bearers, high priests of the hearth, hold social and political power unmatched by kings. Conversely, the night, cold, silent, and impenetrable, would be seen as a cursed time. A time of death, demons, and forgotten things. Festivals of light would dominate calendars, not just for joy, but for survival. Myths might tell of an ancient time when humanity offended the gods by seeking the wrong spark, the forbidden one, and were cast into a world where only fire would keep the shadows at bay. And what of knowledge? In this timeline, enlightenment is no birthright. The absence of electricity slows the printing press, kills the radio before it's born, renders the internet a myth. Books become precious. Education is elite. Universities resemble secret societies. Libraries are literal temples. Ideas travel slowly, sometimes never. In this world, to know is to rule, and the vast majority remain in the dark, in every sense of the word. But here's where the timeline bends in your direction, because this journey through a world without electricity isn't just mine to tell. It's ours to imagine. So, pause for a second and ask yourself, what would you miss the most in a world without the hum of power? Is it the glow of your phone screen late at night? The hum of your refrigerator? The lifeline of the internet that connects you to ideas, memes, loved ones? Or maybe it's something deeper, the simple comfort of flipping a switch and knowing you've beaten the darkness, at least for a moment. Now flip that question, would this world without electricity actually force us closer together? Would neighbors rely on each other more in the face of a shared, constant dusk? Or would the darkness isolate us, turning villages into islands of flame, each flickering alone in the night? Would we sing more songs? Tell more stories by candlelight? Or retreat further into fear? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what your version of this alternate timeline looks like. Do you see resilience, despair, beauty, horror? I read every theory, and I can't wait to see yours. And hey, if this idea lit a fire in your imagination, yeah, pun completely intended, don't forget to hit that like button and share this with someone who gets just as excited about alternate history as you do. Let's build this strange world together. Electricity didn't just light up our homes, it illuminated our destiny. That tiny, controlled spark cracked open the gates of modern civilization. It powered our revolutions, not just industrial, but intellectual. It connected continents in seconds, shrunk the globe, and gave birth to ideas, machines, and relationships we now treat as ordinary. From satellites orbiting Earth to the coffee machine humming in your kitchen, it all starts with a current, a circuit, a flicker of light. But by stepping into this imagined world without it, we begin to realize something profound. Progress is not a guarantee. The future isn't inevitable, it's built, spark by spark. Every innovation we enjoy was once fragile, controversial, maybe even feared. In this shadow world of steam and silence, we see just how easily a different path could have emerged, slower, stranger, darker. Electricity didn't just light up our homes, it illuminated our destiny. That first flicker of controlled energy didn't just chase away shadows. It cracked open the gates of modern civilization. With it came revolutions, not just industrial, but intellectual. It allowed ideas to travel faster than ships, voices to echo across oceans, and dreams to take form in code, circuits, and screen light. It birthed the world we know today, from satellites watching over our skies to the soft hum of a coffee maker starting your morning. It built bridges not just of steel, but of connection, collapsing vast distances between people and places. And yet, it all began with something so small, so easily lost, a single spark. By imagining a world without it, we confront an uncomfortable truth: progress is fragile. The world we live in, its marvels, comforts, and connections, is not guaranteed. It had to be fought for, discovered, protected. Every invention we take for granted was once feared or misunderstood. The light we live by could easily have remained a myth in the dark. So the next time you flip a switch without thinking, scroll endlessly on your glowing screen, or gaze at the brilliance of a city skyline, pause. Reflect. Somewhere, in another version of history, that moment never came. And yet here you are, surrounded by miracles born from fire, ambition, and sheer human will. If this journey through the shadows of what might have been sparked your curiosity, be sure to subscribe for more stories from the timelines that never were. Because sometimes, the most powerful way to understand our world is to imagine the one where it never existed at all.